So today we're going to be installing a sprinkler system in my backyard. So I'm going to be walking you step by step through this whole sprinkler process, make it as easy and non-complex as possible. I'm going to make sure that you understand every single step. So we're going to start with step one, planning. For planning, you're going to need to know your gallons per minute. Just measure how long it takes to fill a 5-gallon bucket in a minute. Mine was about 4 gallons per minute. You're also going to need your PSI. This is your pressure coming off the faucet you're running. This is going to be off whatever water line that you're planning on running on. So based on this, we're about 50 PSI. Get the dimensions of your yard and write those down. Gallons per minute tells you how much water you can supply. PSI tells you how far and strong that water will spray. Both of these determine how many sprinkler heads you can run at the same time without losing performance. You can grab your yard measurements and sketch it out. Break your space into sections based on the shape and size. A simple rule is keep your heads evenly spaced so the spray patterns overlap. This is called head-to-head coverage. That's what gives you an even green lawn instead of dry spots. Now for zoning, add up the flow rate of each sprinkler head. This is listed on the nozzle specs. Your total zone should stay under your available gallons per minute. If you have 4 gallons per minute, you might only want to run 2 to 3 heads per zone depending on the type. Finally, choose the right heads. Use spray heads for small, tight areas and rotor heads for large spaces. They use less water over longer distances. Always match the head types within the same zone. If you get this part right, your entire system will run efficiently from day one. This is definitely going to be some thinking in the beginning process, and probably the hardest part is finding out where your water is going to be supplied from and how much coverage you're going to have per sprinkler head. But do a little research. ChatGPT or rainbird.com or your local sprinkler store will be your best friend. Normally you would use sprinkler stakes, but I'm just going to use sticks today because I don't want to go to the store. They work the same. Hopefully my dog doesn't steal them. So I'm going to start in my first corner with my first sprinkler. So this is just giving me an idea of where I'm going to trench my sprinklers and how I'm going to run my funny pipe. Another very difficult part of this process is deciding where your water is going to come from, whether it's from your house or whether it's from your city main water valve. Either or, it's going to be kind of difficult to find a point you want to attach. Luckily, I was lucky enough that I had a fitting with a cap on it that I could splice off of. And I have an unfinished basement that I was able to shoot straight to my sprinkler box that was about 6 feet away from the house. I got very lucky in this instance. Now, if I was using PEX in my house, I would not be worried because PEX fittings are very easy to piece together with shark bites and are awesome to work with. If you have PEX, do not stress. That's going to be one of the easiest ways to get your water to your sprinkler system. Now, if you have PVC, this is also a pretty easy way to get water to your system. And the last one is copper, or like I have here is galvanized steel. That's going to be one of the harder ways to get it to. But if you piece it together in the store, you're going to be fine. You can YouTube some videos on how to solder, and nowadays they even make tools that you can rent that can clamp the copper together without soldering. So once you figure out a good point to tee off of to get the water to your valve box, now I put a ball valve on here so I can shut it off and on in the winter when I blow it off, and an easy access point in my basement where I can turn my sprinklers on or off if I have a leak outside. If I could figure out a video how to do it for every single house that may be watching this and your scenario is not like mine, I would, but I can't. You're going to have to figure out some things yourself or hire out pieces. If I were to hire out a section, it may be this section or putting the backflow valve in this. Maybe both at the same time, and that may be your most expensive cost of this project. But if you're doing DIY, you got this. You can do it because I did it too. If you don't know how to run off your city's main water line or where to access that, a good point of reference to try to tee off of is if you already have an existing water faucet going outside. That's exactly what I did because I had a faucet running outside. I used the same area to drill my hole and get that water running outside. Well, I'm working a little backwards today. I have my stakes, as you saw, plotting out my sprinklers. Right now I'm digging the valve box. I'm actually going to work backwards and then worry about this half later, because this is what I don't know, and this is the part I do know from working landscaping. Run our lines all the way to our sprinklers. Right now we're working with 1 inch down to a 3/4, and then we have a 1/4 funny pipe that will run to each sprinkler head. That way the pressure gets smaller and smaller, giving enough pressure for each head. Typically you would call 411 before you start digging. I know exactly where my gas line is because I had them call out for my patio and for my fence, and it is nowhere near where I'm putting sprinklers, and it is way deeper than we're ever going to go. My sprinklers, I'm going to try to be about 8 inches, so a full shovel head, anywhere from 12 to 8, that's going to be our prime spot. So I'm going to go a full shovel head down and get to laying this pipe. Since I have a lot of B-roll footage of digging, I'm going to display a list of non-negotiable system components you must have, and then your pipe fitting and connections that are optional. These are a list of materials that you're going to need for your sprinkler system, depending on the region, depending on what type you're putting in. It's all going to depend on your system, your zones, your heads, your sprinklers, the tees you have to make, whether you use saddles or not, how many valves you have, valve box. But I'm just going to lay out a complete list of everything so you can just pick and choose from there what you need. This list is scaring you. I wish I could do this project for you and pick it out for you, but these are decisions you will have to make to determine what's going to fit your yard best. You're going to have to do a little digging into studying what you need and make those decisions yourself. If I could, I would, but I'm just helping you with a general guideline. This is the blazing connector. So these are saddles. What's cool about these is you can wrap them around your pipe, and all you're going to do is just twist this in, and it's going to automatically puncture that hole for you as it's clamped down and create a connection to where you can run your sprinkler straight from it. So these connections will save you time and money rather than running Ys like this and having way more holes. Because think about it, with a Y like this, you're going to have a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here. This one just has one hole on one big pipe, and they work very well. They also look like this for smaller pipes, and you can get them with angles. So they have different sizes, but they're lifesavers, truly. If I would have rented a trencher, this project would have gone 3 times as fast, but it also would have cost a little bit more. This is a way I dig my trenches in 3-yard lengths. Just dig it out, roll it all together. This is what your yard's gonna look like. So just be ready for the chaos and the trenching, and I got a lot more to go. Play the clip.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
Oh. Once you're done trenching, you can put your pipe in the hole and cover up parts of it to hold it down and leave the parts exposed where you're going to make your connections. These main line dug in, trenched. Now we're going to use our saddles and do our sprinklers. So I left a little outlet here for our sprinklers, here and here and here, but the main line is covered up. So these saddles are going to connect in nice and tight. Just make our connection from 1 inch to 3/4. There's several connections you can buy at the store. What I'm going to do is a push connect 1 inch to 3/4 female, and then I'm taking this T that screws in here and I'm going to connect it here. So what we're going to start by doing is cutting this pipe right down the middle. Okay. Okay, on this side I got my hose clamp here. Once that clamps in, I can take my clamp tool here, just give it a nice clamp right there. That's just extra protection there for a nice good seal. Anything that's going to be threaded, you're going to want this thread seal tape there. These push to connect fittings are not fun to put in. They're a little hard. Sometimes spitting on them helps. Make sure not to kink the pipe when you're putting them in. So they sell lots of different types of saddles. This one is just a quick clamp saddle. I love this one because it's just quick. You wrap it around the hose just like this. You can point it whatever direction you want. and you're going to twist it on, and it'll actually puncture the hole for you. Make sure that's the direction you want, because this is going to be pointing this way. Here's what another saddle will look like. I'll show you how that one works here in a second. But first, we're going to set our first sprinkler. I'm just running my poly straight to the sprinkler. No PVC sticking up. If you wanted to, you could do a rigid, solid PVC pipe to this. So your sprinkler, let me find it, sits a little higher like this if you want. But I'm just gonna connect it right here and sit it as deep as it goes. So on the four corners, I am doing a little more powerful Rainbird. So this one's the Rainbird 5000. It should spray basically 30 feet instead of 15, just to get a little extra coverage. So, alrighty. If you want a little extra connection, you can definitely use clamps on this side. I've never personally had experience of them popping off. It might help with leaks, but this is a very tight connection with this. If you have trouble pushing it in, you can actually twist it into the poly. I'm going to prop it up with some hard soil right behind it. And you're going to want to pack in that soil very tightly around this head. Take some of your wetter stuff, find a rock or two. You can set it in that dirt too to set it as well. Okay. Alrighty, we got our first sprinkler set, and we got about 11 more to go. If you do one of these sprinklers, the rest are going to fly by. It goes by super quick once you have your pipe laid. Alrighty. Poly's connected. Let's dig it out. As you can see here, I ran my mainline trench all the way to the end of my backyard, and all I did was run these saddle connectors with the SPX Flex or funny pipe to my sprinklers. It has tons of pressure, and it's super easy connections without doing tees. So we got our first sprinkler here. This one's a 360 nozzle. Just pull the sprinkler up. We're going to twist the old head off. Try to keep dirt from getting in there. And then you're going to put the filter in. Filter in, and then your nozzle head is just going to screw on like that. And that adjustment tool, any adjustments when I turn that water on will be from this set screw right here. Whether it sprays further or shorter, it's going to be from this screw right there. Just get it on there nice and tight. No matter how far away your box is away from your house, mine's pretty short, you're going to want to run the main water line to the house. And then you're also going to want to cover your wires to wherever you're plugging it in. So I want my wires covered, that way they don't get any weather damage, and they're going to be covered with that conduit to run to my house. Here you can see me using sprinkler hose as conduit to run my wire straight to my garage. I'm going to drill into my garage and run my wiring straight to the garage. If you have an outlet outside, you can use one of those. Alrighty, so I got my wire fished through here. Hopefully you can see that. This is kind of my setup, what I came with. These are my two valves. This is my inlet water. As you can see, I'm not finished with it yet, but I have it all set here because I'm going to finish that side later. I kind of worked backwards, but that's okay. Keep everything organized in the box. You'll thank yourself later. I like to put gravel in the bottom so then it doesn't fill up with dirt and mud later. As far as wiring this system, you would think this would be the hardest part, but it's actually the easiest. All you'll need is a sprinkler timer controller. Pick one out that is within your budget and how many zones you're going to be running. I only needed to run 3 zones, so I got a 4 control box. This can run 4 zones. They make fancy ones that run off your Wi-Fi. They make basic ones. Pick one out that's going to suit your needs that you find handy. You're also going to need to pick up underground sprinkler wire. If you have 4 zones, you can run a 4 wire. If you have more than 4 zones, you're going to need a 6 wire. Now each valve has only 2 wires. Most of the time they're not marked. So one is going to be a common wire and one is going to be an individual zone wire. It doesn't matter which one is which. So on your valve you're going to have 2 wires. It doesn't matter. Only one wire is special. So one goes to the common wire and the other goes to the zone control. The valve itself doesn't care which is which. That's why they look the exact same and don't specify on the valve. It's just a solenoid or an electromagnet. So electrically, either wire can be common or control. So just designate which one's common and which one's control. As far as your 6 wire, you're going to have different colors. 4 wire is going to be the same. This one just has a little more color. So your white is always going to be your control. All the other colors are just going to be different zones. And it doesn't matter which color you pick for each zone. It just matters that your control goes to your control in your box and your zone goes to your zone in the box. And then all of your controls for your valves will be all connected to the same wire. So this control for this valve and this control will all be connected to the white cord on here. I'll show you a little clearer. Now my controller box was very easy to work out. All you have to do is loosen the screws, connect the wire, tighten the screws. Now, the common should be labeled C and each zone should be labeled 1 through 6. This part should not be confusing at all. It's basically one shared wire for all the valves and one unique wire per valve. One very important thing that you're going to need is either a double check valve or a backflow preventer. Now, each state varies differently or city of what code you need, but a backflow preventer prevents water from seeping into your sprinkler heads and going back to your drinkable water. A double check valve or a backflow preventer prevents that water from coming back up into your house and contaminating all that water. Now, if there was one section I would hire out for somebody else, this is probably the section I would recommend hiring out. I did not. I did it myself, and it was one of the most difficult parts of the process. The part that helped me out the most was piecing each part of my plumbing in Home Depot while I was at the store. Now, I had to make many trips to Home Depot, but it helped out a lot piecing it all together there and then assembling it once I got home. The part I struggled with the most is knowing which fitting will go where and how it's all going to work. Now, if you're good at this, then you're going to have a breeze. If you're worried about the wiring, it's the easiest part. The fittings was the hardest part for me, and the manual labor obviously was a little bit hard, but it takes a few days, takes a little bit of thinking. It's definitely a brain scratcher. It's going to challenge you. You may cut your hands up, you may get dirty, but man, is it rewarding seeing that water turn on for the first time. It was so awesome. Even though mine wasn't set up correctly the first time, it was so awesome to see visually. The hard work and fruit of your labor. My scenario was unique where I had dogs. I did not want getting muddy and I did not want my trenches open all week long. So I buried my lines as I went. But if you can, test it before you bury everything. Turn one zone at a time and check for leaks, proper spray coverage, and pressure issues. Adjust your head's angle, distance, and spray pattern. Once everything looks good, you can backfill your trenches, pack the dirt down, and clean your yard, and you should be done. Okay, I had to redig this up out of third zone, but that's okay because this zone's going to have way more pressure now, and it's going to put bigger heads to water the entire thing. This is what it looks like now. Tons of extra work to put in that new. Not a single leak here. And lots of pressure out here. That head is doing great. But I'm wondering why this one might not be working. It makes no sense why I wouldn't have pressure here. So I had no pressure to this sprinkler, which gave me a sign that I might have a leak. So I dug it back to where I did the union, and for sure there is a leak. So we know why there's no pressure. We're gonna draw it back here and hook that one back. As you can see, things didn't go perfect for me, but I troubleshooted it, figured it out, and now I have plenty pressure, good head coverage. After adjusting my sprinklers one by one and testing them, it turned out great. I couldn't be more happier with the system. Hopefully these instructions helped you out. That's the full process of installing a sprinkler system from scratch with no experience. It's lots of steps, but if you take it one section at a time, it's completely doable. I had no experience hardly at all, and I did it. And if I can do it, you can too. It saves you a ton of money doing it yourself, and if it helped you out, drop a like. Please subscribe if you liked this video. If you got questions, throw them in the comments. Hopefully I or one of my subscribers can help you out, and we'll see you on the next project.
Yo.